Hi guys, welcome back to CJ's Keto Kitchen. If you are looking for family-friendly, delicious food made ketogenic, then you've come to the right place. And tonight we are on location on our vacation. So come along and let's get started making a delicious taco pizza, only it's going to be low carb. So let's go ahead and get started. Tonight's recipe is going to be a taco pizza. Now, I'm from southern Idaho, and when we went to have pizza as a family, we would generally go to Pizza Hut, and they had a taco pizza, and that is usually what we would order. Now, the one from Pizza Hut had beans on it, but I have altered this to create a taco sauce as part of the component of the pizza. But it is going to be a fathead dough. It's going to be very easy, and it's going to be very fun. So let's go ahead and get started. We are on location this evening preparing this recipe. We are taking our late summer vacation with our children. And sometimes we like to prepare a recipe when we stay in Airbnbs. It kind of gives a different feeling than CJ's usual keto kitchen. So for this recipe, we are going to be making a fathead dough, and you're going to need to be cooking that in the oven. You're going to pre-cook your crust before you add your toppings. So we need our oven to be 425 degrees. You are also going to need a baking tray. Mine is parchment lined. You could also use a silicone mat if you would like, but you're going to have either a silicone mat or parchment paper of some kind with fathead dough, or you will not remove it from your tray. So we have made fathead dough multiple times on this channel in various recipes, including calzones and other things. It's often utilized in the ketogenic and low carb lifestyle, and it incorporates a cream cheese and mozzarella cheese dough utilizing almond flour, and it puffs up and acts very much like regular pizza dough. So the first step that you're going to need is cream cheese, and you need about 2 ounces of that. So 2 ounces of cream cheese. And to our cream cheese, we need to add 1.5 cups of mozzarella cheese. The time mozzarella is found in part skim. If you can find whole milk mozzarella, that's ideal, because the higher the fat content, the lower the carbs. So we are going to need to melt this in our microwave. If you do not have a microwave, I know that people have successfully done this on the stovetop. You just have to watch it. So I'm going to start microwaving mine in about 1 minute increments and then 30 seconds thereafter.
All right, Cjsketokitchen family. So while we're waiting for the fathead dough to get cooked in the microwave, we wanted to tell you about a special promotion this week from the folks at Perfect Keto. These are their Nola bars. They're kind of reintroducing these, and they have 2 flavors: peanut butter and coconut chocolate chip. I really enjoyed these before, so I'm really excited to see how they taste now. Basically, the way the sale works this week is the more you buy, the more you save, and we will link all the information you need in the video description. So check it out. I'm going to try one. They've kind of relaunched this. They've had these out before, and let's see if their taste is any different. I liked them before. It's good. That says a little different, a little smoother, and really good peanut butter flavor. So check them out. Check out the Nola bars while they're on sale. All the information about the sale will be linked in the video description below.
And you can see that it has started the melting process, but it's not completely melted. So I am giving it a stir with my spatula. And for any of you who are new to our channel, welcome. Yes, this is a melamine bowl, but we are in a rented place. If I were at home, I would be doing this in a glass bowl, but I think we'll probably be okay for one time. So I'm going to go ahead and microwave this for another 30 seconds and see if we can get just a bit more melted. Be sure and use your hot pad if you're taking hot things out of the microwave. And we have more of a melted consistency with our cream cheese and our mozzarella. So we are ready to add our next ingredient. So the next thing that we are going to add to our melted cheese and cream cheese is almond flour, and we are going to be using 3/4 of a cup. And I'm just going to use the spatula to combine that. Now, if you find that it is getting a little bit difficult to work with, you can always put it in your microwave or in your pan again for a few minutes to thoroughly melt your cheeses again. And I generally will do that for about 15 seconds or so. Now, before I put this in the microwave for just another little spin, I want to add my seasoning at this point. You don't have to add seasoning to your fathead dough, but I always do. And because we are making a taco pizza, I'm going to be adding some taco flavorings to my dough. I'm going to be putting in just a little bit of ground cumin, and that is definitely going to give us a taco taste. The other thing that I'm going to be adding is some red Sazon. Sazon is usually found by your bouillons, and it is a Latin spice, and it has a lot of Mexican taco flavors in it. Now, I'm going to put this in the microwave for about another 15 seconds, and then I'm going to stir it again. Okay. I'm going to stir it now at this point. Now our dough is nice and warm and pliable, and that's when I find it is the best time to add our egg. Egg is the final ingredient in our fathead dough. So you just need 1 egg, and mine has been sitting out for a few minutes. Now I like to work my egg in by hand. You could use a spatula if you prefer, but I find that I have more control if I work the egg in by hand. And our dough is nice and warm and pliable at this point, but it's not too hot to handle. Okay, so we have our dough. It has taken on a beautiful yellow color from our seasonings and our egg. And I'm just going to set this aside for a moment while I prepare our work surface. So fathead dough can be a bit intimidating sometimes if you're just starting out using it, but it is very flexible and forgiving. So I find that when I work with fathead dough, I find it very helpful to use parchment paper. And when I use parchment paper, I really enjoy the pre-cut. This is linked in our Amazon favorites. It always is. It is a very good price for the amount that you get. Or you can also find parchment paper at the dollar store, which I've also successfully found, and it is, of course, $1. So we're going to be rolling this out. And in order to facilitate an easier rolling, it's helpful to wet your counter with a little bit of water before you put your parchment paper down. It helps it to cling to your countertop. So I just have a little bit of water here in a mug, and I'm going to put a little bit of water down on my surface and then place my parchment paper down. I just have our dough, and I'm going to go ahead and put it down on my first piece of parchment paper. I'm going to take a second piece of parchment paper and lie it down. Now I have my rolling pin, and I'm going to roll it out in a general rectangle because that is the size of my baking sheet. So I'm going to roll it out as close to a rectangle as I can because that's what size my baking sheet is. If you were going to use a pizza stone or something in a round shape, you could try and mimic that. Now, I've never been very good at geometry, but we are doing the best that we can. Okay, let's see. Now remember to work slowly. And if anything becomes overly sticky, you can always dampen your fingers or the surface with a little bit of water. Fathead dough is forgiving. You just have to be patient. Okay, so I have the general semblance of a rectangle, and I'm going to put it on my baking tray and kind of maneuver it just a bit to get it as rectangular as possible. So remember, if you don't have a perfect rectangle, like I said, water and your hands. Water on your fingertips. Works very well to just smooth everything out. So the next thing that we are going to do before we pop this in the oven is we're going to dock it. Now, docking is taking a fork and poking it to make sure that we don't get any puffy air bubbles and that everything bakes evenly. So we just want to dock it with our fork, just intermittently through the dough. So we are going to pre-bake our fathead dough crust for 8 minutes at 425 degrees, and then we're going to put our toppings on. So while our taco pizza crust is cooking, let's talk about toppings. So you're going to need about a pound of ground beef, and this is already cooked. Now, instead of utilizing beans like some taco pizzas have, I'm making more of a taco sauce style to put as the base on our pizza. So in order to facilitate that, to our ground beef, I'm going to be adding 2 things. and that is about 1/3 cup of enchilada sauce. Be sure and check your labels on your enchilada sauce. It can be fairly low in carb depending on the brand that you choose. I'm also going to be putting a little bit of taco sauce. Now this particular one is the Taco Bell brand, and it is found with the rest of the salsas, and it is 0 carbs. And I'm just going to be putting in a few shakes of this. So that is going to give us our taco flavor without a lot of carbs. I'm also personally going to be using some sliced black olives. You could of course use any type of taco toppings that you and your family enjoy, but these are the ones that I'm going to be putting on before I put melted cheese on top. We are also going to be putting on a few toppings after the pizza has cooked. So I'm going to go ahead and put our enchilada sauce into our ground meat now. And I'm just going to stir that around. Now I'm also going to be putting in a couple of shakes of the Taco Bell taco sauce. I am using the mild version. They do make a hot and a fire. So depending on your flavor tolerances, your spicy tolerances, you could choose something similar in a different heat range. So here is our pre-cooked taco pizza fathead dough, and you can see that it's gotten nice and golden, but the docking helped it from making it too puffy. So now we are going to go ahead and put our taco toppings on, and we are going to cook it for a little bit longer. Okay, so the first thing that we want to put down is just a tiny bit of cheese. Now I'm using a Mexican blend for this because this is taco pizza, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit down first before we put our ground beef down. So next, remember that we have our taco seasoned ground meat, and we are going to put that down on an even layer on our crust. And I'm going to put everything in the center, and then I'm going to take my spatula and smooth it out. And I'm taking it close to the edge, but not really going over, so that we have a slight crust for our pizza. Okay. Now I have the olives, and I'm going to sprinkle those evenly over our taco pizza. Okay, now the rest of our cheese goes on, and we're going to put it back in the oven for about 10 minutes. Okay, here she goes, back into the oven for about 10 minutes at 425. We hope that you will give this video a like and share it with your family and friends and anyone you think might enjoy this video. It really helps us, and it helps us to reach more people with the ketogenic lifestyle and easy recipes that they can make and enjoy. So there is our delicious low-carb taco pizza. So I'm going to let the pizza cool for a minute. I'm going to talk about the cold toppings, and then CJ is going to have his taste test. So for taco pizza, it's very traditional that you have the meat and the cheese and a few of the toppings baked onto the crust. And then after the crust has come out of the oven and sat for a few minutes, you put some cold toppings on. And in that way you have a hybrid of both pizza and a taco. So for our cold toppings, what I'm going to be using tonight is telling us it's reached temperature again. It's very smart of it. I have some chopped green onions and a few fresh tomatoes here. I also have a little bit of shredded iceberg lettuce, which I know CJ does not prefer, but is very traditional in tacos. A little bit of sour cream. You can, of course, add more taco sauce. And then also optional, but extremely traditional, is either crunched up tortillas or tortilla chips. And in this case, I'm going to be using Quest chips because they are low carb. You could use some other type of low carb chip that you enjoy. This one happens to be the loaded taco flavor. And I am able to find the Quest chips both in my local grocery store and at Target very easily. So I'm going to slice into this and put a piece on the plate, and then I'm going to top it with the cold toppings, and then CJ is going to have his taste. And you can see that the parchment paper makes it so nice for removal. Just a couple tomatoes. Lettuce on there because I know you're not much of a lettuce fan. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, we are on location, and here is our delicious dinner. It is a low-carb taco pizza. And CJ is going to give it a taste for us. Hello.
Hi.
It is taco time and also pizza time. So, taco pizza.
Wow.
2 for 1.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna try to pick this up.
All right.
A lot of stuff on it. A little bit difficult.
Maybe you should bring the plate closer.
No, that's fine. Oh, that's fine. All right. Well, it's good. I could have done without the. You know, the tomatoes aren't that bad. I was gonna say, cause I get it. It's a taco.
Yes.
So you're trying to get the cold, fresh stuff on it. I get it.
Right.
It's good.
Yes.
It definitely is a taco flavor, taco pizza. I think people will like it. I think people can have fun with it too.
For sure.
So they could do other stuff with it that they want to do with it, but still be the same concept. Thanks, baby. I appreciate what you did today. Bye-bye.
Bye.